Caesar, yield to the beast. Your body belongs to the government now. No more bodily autonomy. But as Christians, we do believe in bodily autonomy.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Family That podcast. I got a light on today, so I look a little bit better today. But what are we going to get into today? I watched this video. It was a Sunday sermon about mandatory cookies. And so I want everybody to go watch that video if you yourself are fighting like the mandatory cookie injection mandate and all that stuff. So make sure you go check out that. I'll put like a clip here about why it was so inspiring and things like that. But the best part about that is just realizing that, we can and should, fight everything that's going on now. So I think what I'll say is, do people not see what's going on? I feel like people don't get the bigger picture about what's happening now. They're not seeing the light. They're not understanding that this is bigger than what they're trying to make this seem. We've had more deaths this year than last year. And I think this whole thing is just insane to me. It's just insane. I will start by saying this. I've noticed that I've watched protests from other countries where they understand and they get what's going on and why they must fight this. But when I look around my own neighborhood here in the States and things like that, I feel like a very small number get it. And it's like trying to talk to people that do not understand what's going on at all. And I was watching something from The Hill where they said people like for the government to comfort them and to save them and all of these things like that. And I thought that was a very interesting take on what's going on now. And I saw a comment from someone too. I'll put that on the screen. But their comment made so much sense to me about how people are when it comes to this argument. And then I'm going to put a couple of tweets that I put on my Twitter about this whole thing about how people don't feel protected even though they have protection. And why is that? Why do people continue to live in fear if you're protected? And why are you fearful of those that are not protected? So I put that quote up on my, in so many words, I put that on my Twitter. And I remember somebody commented about this is how we save humanity and all of those things. I'm like, well, did you care about humanity before this? What were you doing to save humanity before this came around? And then other people like to argue about how efficient things are and all of these things they like to argue. But what's so sad about it is, where is the concrete data? Where is the good data to show us any information that could help us make a great decision? Do you guys realize how poor the data has been? How they haven't tried to report on certain things, so the data is skewed? Like, I don't understand why people act like they don't understand it. They don't see how the numbers could be confusing and how the numbers are really just not there. For example, we know how many people have had the ... But we don't know how many people have recovered. We don't know any of that information because we didn't follow the people. So it's kind of like, okay, so how are we supposed to get a concrete number about what's going on? How are we supposed to get the full picture if we have no data? They don't want to tell you if this person had an underlying condition. They barely want to report about that. They don't want to report if this person, and I understand because it's somebody's personal health, so you can't really do that too much reporting, right? But it's just like, where is the reports about the underlying conditions? Where is the reports about if someone with this condition, how likely are they to have a reaction like this? Like, why is there like no real data when it comes to things? So when people say, that we're crazy for not wanting to do research about this, I think that you're crazy for doing this without having any research. And when you have research that suggests otherwise and suggests that some things are alarming and that, that things are not as true as people made us seem, then you should be questioning this too. But like I said, do people not see what's going on here? And, let's see, another thing that I've noticed that's like, just trying to talk to people and explain to them about freedom, especially being black, I'll say. that a lot of people like to use the line, we're not free here. And the thing is, I think it's kind of sad because we have freedoms being taken away right now. And you guys got to get out here and we got to fight and we got to hold the line like everybody else is doing. These are our freedoms that we've had in this country that you might not have realized you had because, of course, they have told you for years that you had no freedoms and that we're not free here. But what do you call this? We're saying people can't work. People can't go to the gym. People can't go to the grocery store. People can't go to restaurants. People can't do anything unless you do this, right? So if you don't feel like your freedoms are being threatened or anything like that, what do you think is happening right now? Do you think that this is normal? Do you think this is normal behavior that you're seeing in Australia? Does that look like, that seems like a good thing. That should come on right to the States. Is that what you think? Like, do you think that those things can't happen here? And why would you wait for it to happen before fighting it? They're literally going door to door telling people about their, Facebook posts. Telling people they can't be outside because they're not out for essential business. If you're actually seeing what's going on in other places, you should be concerned about that coming to the States because it's like, if we don't fight it now, then what happens, If we don't fight what's going on right now, they'll decide to do even more. Okay, so the first thing, I don't know, it's just like this whole thing, I'm trying to say this in a way so there's, so you don't get flagged, right? And so this whole thing just bothers me because I don't see enough people fighting. I see everybody laying it down and taking it. And I don't like that. But I do appreciate the people that are fighting it. And I wish there was more that we could do because I feel like, it's a lonely feeling when you're fighting these mandates and you're kind of the only one. And we're fighting mandates in my household personally. So I'm not going to get into that because I don't know if this is going to be like a legal situation later, so I'm not going to discuss it. But I will say that it's the most lonely thing ever that nobody understands why we must fight this. Everybody's like, you might as well just do it because you got to keep your job. You got to get your livelihood. You got to do this. You got to keep this and do that. But what if you don't believe in this? Am I supposed to just make this decision just because? It's just because to make you feel better. Just to make you feel better. Make my coworkers that I don't even like feel better. I got to do this. That doesn't make any sense to me. All right, and another thing that I've noticed that I don't like is the media, right? The media just constantly, all they do is fear, 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 fear. There's nothing ever encouraging. I've had to unfollow all news pages, on my Facebook, everywhere, because I don't want to see a bunch of fear all day long. And I think it's just sad that, how the media has portrayed this whole thing. And they're the reason why people are so fearful of their neighbors, fearful of people around them. It's because of the media, It's like people just probably sit there all day long listening to this in their ear, and that is all that they hear about what's going on. And it's like, man, if people just turn that TV off and learn to live life again, and we can learn to live with this, and then we can move on with our lives. But that's not going to happen because they've made people fearful. They divided us versus this group versus that group. And, that group over there, you can't tell them differently. They believe their good old government is working for them and that, this is the best decision ever. And they love making health decisions with their government. And, this is the best thing since sliced bread. So you can't tell those people anything. And it's on us. We're going to have to fight for all of us because even though you're on that side, we're going to fight for you to have your freedoms too because you obviously don't understand what all of this means. I think it's crazy to mandate this in the name of public health when you guys haven't even been giving us haven't even given us healthy messages, haven't done healthy eating, haven't done anything to really help people combat their own health. At all. We haven't even tried to address people's underlying conditions and how we can get those things under control so people are healthier people in general. Those are the messages that we really need. And instead, they stoke fear, which then provides you with nothing but anxiety and depression, which doesn't help you fight anything at all. So it's kind of like, alrighty then. I see what's going on here. But the problem is, we need everybody to see what's going on so we can all fight this. So I want to tell everybody that's fighting this, keep doing what's best for you and your family. So yeah, everybody that's fighting this, I know that this is a very scary time for everyone, and we're all trying to figure out our next moves, figure out how we're going to, live if we make, that very tough decision that, no, this is not what I want to do. This is my body. This is my temple. And, I'm not going to just inject whatever you want me to inject in it. So, especially when I want to have more concrete evidence about what's going on, and I want the true evidence. I don't want skewed data. I want correct information. I want information that, that's just not given by one expert and then can't be peer reviewed, can't be said, hey, questioned by any other person in the medical field, that this is just what it is. I don't like that at all. That just makes me more skeptical. If we could just have good information, good research, and that can be questioned, that's not censored, then maybe people will be on board. But fear tactics is not going to work. That's not going to work at all. But anyways, I'm not going to get on that because we're not on that. Anyway, so everybody fighting those mandates, just, keep up the good fight. And I want to tell everybody that as these mandates occur, you need to be prepared. Because these are people that are essential workers. These are people that we need. These are people that we depend on. These are people, these are great people. We're talking about, let's think about the people here, okay, that's working. We got our pilots. We got people on shipyards. We got our everyday, carrier people, mail carrier people. We have our teachers. We have our child care workers. We have our police. We have paramedics. We have firefighters. We have people in stores. So you have the custodians, people that clean. You have counselors. You have all of these people that we need. They're essential to our everyday lives. So you need to start thinking about, if these people go on strike or anything like that, how am I going to be okay? You need to have a stock fridge. You need to figure out your own personal defense. And you need to figure out, you need to have a rainy day fund. You need to have some money just in case too. But those three things are very important, and make sure that you have a village around you that can support you, because it's going to be very important as time goes on. But I think that's all that I got today. I can't think of anything else, but I saw that video about the mandatory cookies, and I thought it was a great video.
What they could do in the future to harm us even more. But what we're saying here is that the government, under God, has no right to tell people to eat the cookie. It certainly has no right to give fathers and husbands the death penalty and to tell them they can't provide for their families anymore because they don't want to take an experimental cookie with such alarming short-term data. We don't want your cookie, Joe.
And the reason why I liked it is because me, myself, I have been restoring my faith, especially probably at the start of this pandemic, and things just started happening in my life, and I had to go back to the good word. So what I liked about that video was talking about how God's law transcends all. And I was like, you know what, you're right. There's somebody protecting us. There's somebody that's higher than us, if you believe in this, right? There's somebody that's above us, that's guiding us, that's protecting us. And, there's not supposed to be fear in man. You're not supposed to fear things like that. So I thought that, his message was just very powerful about how God's law transcends all. And that's what our, especially if you're doing like a religious exemption and things like that, that you need to go from that perspective of that, what, that's who governs me. It's not, it's not the government that governs me. And I thought that was just such a good message. So I want everybody to check out the video. I'm going to link it down below. Hopefully don't mind me putting like a clip here or there. But yeah, I want everybody to go see that if you're fighting this too. But thank you all for watching. I'll check you guys out in another video.